From Walter Brown Arena on the campus of Boston University, it's round 2 of a weekend series between Penn State and BU in the final game of 2018. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm Tyler Murray. David Souza will join us momentarily. After a 1-1 tie yesterday between BU and Penn State, the Terriers still one of the hottest teams in the country, going 7-1-2 in their last 10 games since the start of November. Yesterday's goals scored by Sammy Davis for the Terriers, our first player to watch. He was able to tie the game in the third and now has a 10-game point streak with 11 goals this year. As for Penn State, you have to be impressed with the freshman Izzy Heminger. She scored the first goal yesterday, came on the power play for Penn State, and the Nittany Lions now have 4 consecutive games in which they've scored a power play goal. We're at the halfway point of the season for BU. 17 games played, 17 games yet to come. We'll see if they can stay hot here in Boston on Stadium. Live at Walter Brown Arena, moments away from puck drop here. Second matchup of the weekend between BU and Penn State. Thanks for joining us. BU Women's Ice Hockey broadcast on Terrier TV on Stadium. I'm Tyler Murray and David Souza. We welcome you in, and you were here yesterday for the 1-1 tie. What were your takeaways from a pretty tough, grinded-out game?
Well, I'd like to see both teams build off of the things they did well in the third period and in overtime. You saw, with this being the first game for both teams in nearly a month, with the Terriers coming off of a 3-week break and the Nittany Lions not playing since December 1st, you saw kind of that rust on the ships that was there in the first 2 periods. But in the third, I like the Terriers' ability to generate some scoring chances with shots on net. The Nittany Lions, I thought, did a great job of kind of finding where they were at the first 5 minutes of the game, where they were getting shots with traffic in front of Corrine Schroeder, and I really thought that's where they were able to put up some good scoring chances, because anything that Schroeder had seen her in that game, she was trapping. And then BU, I'd kind of like to see them continue that offensive zone pressure they had and move things around.
First couple of periods, it felt like these teams were getting a sense of each other. Just 13 shots apiece through the first 2 periods, and as you said, Dave, the scoring opened up a bit. So you wonder if the open ice will be a little more available today as they've got a better feel for each other. And you mentioned that long layoff for both teams. The Terriers, I'm sure, just as soon would have kept on playing, because since the start of November, 7-1-1, and coming back off that break from an 8-0 win against RIT on December 8th, a 1-1 tie yesterday. They'd love to cap off 2018 with a win here.
Yeah, exactly. I really thought their power play was something that you saw was different from when they had before the big hiatus. They were 13 for 26 going in yesterday on their most recent power play opportunities. Then they come in and they go 0 for 4 on the man advantage yesterday. So I want to see how they adjust there to what Penn State had given them yesterday and how they apply it to today's game.
The special teams have been huge for BU. 25 of 27 on the penalty kill entering the weekend. We'll see if they can keep it up. Of course, you see BU there in scarlet and white. Penn State with the Nittany Lion logo on the front in blue and white. As you see, Katie Rankin skating into frame there. The reason for the delay looked like a little bit of moisture around the Penn State goal here. So one of the officials, linesman John Mulroy, doing some yeoman's work behind the cage, getting everything cleared out. He's joined by Russell Tedford at the lines with the referees Kelly Cook and Rick Santilli this afternoon.
Yeah, you saw just before the anthem, Jenna Brenneman, the goalie for Penn State, she was kind of wiping away some of the excess water right at the front of the crease. And usually a lot of times you see goalies go out during warm-ups and they'll kind of just skate back and forth right in the crease to chalk it up a little bit, make it easier to dig in and move around. So that can be a little bit of a danger spot, especially if it's too close into the goal.
The reason he knows that, folks, is Dave Souza is a 4-year equipment manager for the BU women's hockey team. Not going to get better insight than that. And this is a rather unique game here too, David, on a Monday. First Monday game the Terriers have played since 2014 when they beat the Providence Friars 3-1. They also beat Providence 7-1 on a Monday, but that was actually rescheduled from the previous day. So they are 2-1-0 all-time on Mondays as we await anxiously the opening puck drop.
So we'll have a lot of nice puns on a case of the Mondays if things don't go well here.
I'll leave that to you. As I don't want to speak too soon. I don't want to say we're set to go. When we're ready, it'll be Katie Rankin against Jessie Comfer, who is red hot with 11 goals, 21 assists this year. A 14-game assist streak for Comfer, longest active in the NCAA.
And you saw Rankin winning the opening faceoff there. Penn State was 10-2 on draws in the opening period yesterday. BU switched things around. I believe they were 10-4 in the second. So we'll see how faceoffs go in the early goings here.
That's what Penn State does as a stoppage comes from a puck into the BU bench. It reminds me a lot, Hockey East fans might be more familiar with UConn's women's hockey team. They grind it out, they win possession, and that was a big part of UConn's upset over Boston College in the Hockey East tournament a season ago. And we were told by the sports information crew when Penn State plays UConn, it's even more grinded out than we saw yesterday. Possession here up the left wing, Renee Gangarosa into the offensive end. You see Kate Stewart there between the pipes for the Terriers. It's her third career start. The freshman out of Chilliwack, British Columbia, gives Corrine Schroeder a bit of a breather. Schroeder has not allowed an even strength goal in the last 195 minutes in the cage, including yesterday just one goal, and it came on the power play from Izzy Heminger. From fired in by Abby Cook, knocked down just beyond the blue line by Loli Fiddler. Loose in front off the stick of Nelson Elia, putting pressure in front of Brenneman, but it comes back out to center.
I thought this third line for BU played so well yesterday, getting their body positioning correctly, shielding the puck away and cycling the puck down low, really opening the ice up for the Terriers to see how it translates into game two.
Shea Nelson had it taken away by Desiree D'Souza up the boards, but right back into the offensive fray, Olivia Villani. Looking for help right down the middle. Nearly found it with Loli Fiddler, but it is D'Souza again to break up the play. Rachel Allen, or rather Nara Elia on the move. She'll sling it in with a line change coming behind. Jabbing at the puck. Micah Mayer, the senior out of Winnipeg, had a chance at it. Now they're spun around down by the wall. Comes out to Mayer again, and at center it's Abby Stanley to fire it in. Correa slipping past the defender, couldn't get away from the second player, Meyer, and back to Penn State it goes. Kate Ryland now cuts away from Emma Wuthrich. That one tipped in, icing waved off as Stanley and Scarpesi give chase. Not a ton of action, as we said, in the first couple of periods yesterday. Really didn't open up until the third. We'll see if things change here. Brenneman, the goaltender for Penn State, she really has been seen as one of their MVPs, along with Natalie Heising. Look out for number 20 in blue. She does just about everything for Penn State, leading the way with 10 goals and 9 assists this year. And from Crow, the captain, knocked down in front, bodies down in the slot with Comfer on top, and it comes free. McKenna Parker off to the races, the freshman playing well on that top line. The right winger has 4 goals in her freshman campaign. Now Jesse Comfer looks to the middle, popped into the air by Crow, loose between the circles, and it comes out to Promersburg.
And we talked about that grinded out style that Penn State has, and a lot of that has to do with getting their sticks in the right position, whether that be in shooting lanes or different areas where the pass can go. And you just saw that there with Comfer kind of going in around the near corner, trying to center that one out, and it just popped up, preventing a good chance from the slot.
Penn State enters the day with a record of 7-9-3. They're 2-6 in the CHA. BU, meanwhile, is approaching a national ranking, getting a few votes in the last week. The one-timer comes from the blue line, knocked down by Parker, out toward the Penn State line, but scooped up and cleared by Morgan Rolfe. In front of the Penn State bench, they're led by Jeff Campersall and Allison Coomey, the former Terrier skater. They're both in their second seasons behind the bench alongside Celeste Brown, another assistant coach. Wave off the icing here. Heminger, who scored the Penn State goal yesterday early in the third, but it was answered about 6 minutes later by Sammy Davis. Gets it up ice, taken by Stanley. One of the many talented two-way defensemen on this team. Elias skating ahead. Heminger now down beyond the end line. Chance on the break in front of Stewart, makes a left pad save. Now it comes out toward the corner. Allison Coomey, I misspoke earlier, former assistant coach here at BU, didn't play for the Terriers. This one is tipped right in front of the cage, comes out loose where Wuthrich nearly skated into it, but it's Correa to get there instead. Give it right back to Renee Gangarosa, the freshman from Rochester, New York. And again in front of that Penn State bench, it comes back for Kelsey Crow. Crow, the senior captain from Minnetonka, Minnesota. 10 assists this season, including a goal. 1 of 10 in her career. 5 minutes gone by. The scoreboard showing 3 shots total in the game, all belonging to the visiting Nittany Lions. Shot from the slot gets in on Stewart. She kicks it away. Save percentage for the freshman of 93.8% coming in, allowing on average 2 goals a contest. Again, just her 3rd career start for the Terriers. It's Kaylee Donnelly, freshman from Wellesley, Mass, into the corner. Racing after it with Abby Welch, comes free near the goal. Mary Grace Kelly pinching in. Gangarosa turns her around. Allen gets in there as well. Referees calling for movement here. They get it. Gangarosa slings it along the wall. Connor Galway pinching it. Poked behind her. Good stick from Kelsey Crow. Strong defensive effort from the captain so far this weekend. In transition, Sophie Slattery sends one toward the middle, but a diving block made. And a transition opportunity for BU, but it's quickly snuffed out by McLeod. McLeod keeps the puck on her stick, cuts inside, shoots on Stewart, and it's right to the glove of the freshman netminder. With 13:50 to go, she'll hang on.
And that's a great individual effort there by McLeod. She picks off Mary Grace Kelly coming up the far side wall there. Then she goes in, realizes one of her teammates is offside, and instead of just dumping it in, she cuts towards the BU bench to go for that blue line, gets the angle, and makes in onside and gets a good shot in on Stewart.
Defensive zone face-off win for the Terriers. That one fired in just beyond the red line. Alex Allen gets to it first. It is the halfway point in the season for the Terriers. 34 regular season games. This is number 18. One gets all the way through. Banked off the corner boards now. Promersberger. Now toward Adolphson. Karam's out. It's poked at by Sammy Davis. He had the game-tying goal for BU yesterday. 10-game point streak with 11 goals this season. They've asked a lot of the captain Davis in her redshirt junior season. She has certainly delivered, especially during this red-hot 10-game streak. They've had 7 wins, 1 loss, 2 ties since the beginning of November. Katie Rankin now goes left wing, sends it right toward the middle, but Madsen got spun around in the slot, comes out toward Heminger. And they'll reset back at the blue line with Villani. Brooke Madsen goes out to her left to find McMillan.
And Penn State really being the aggressors here early on.
Ridland inserted that one in, but couldn't connect cleanly with a teammate. You said it, Dave. It's 6-0 in shots right now. Nothing doing for the Terriers. Very few clean breakouts. Slow down in the neutral zone. Souza couldn't sustain much along the blue line, so Stanley and Shanahan try to restart it on the other end of the ice. Schuler able to tip it in, but nothing but a line change coming for the Terriers.
And a big adjustment I think Penn State has made between yesterday and today. I'll take a break quickly.
There's a turnover. Tarnowski couldn't finish.
What BU was doing a really good job of getting clean breaks in through the neutral zone into the offensive zone yesterday, and today I think you've seen Penn State really clock things up more.
There's a first shot from the Terriers. Reagan Russ got it all the way through to Brenneman, who makes the save. Jenna Brenneman, a junior from Eagan, Minnesota, a 92.5 save percentage, allowing under 2 goals a contest, and that's a credit to her, but certainly to her defense as well. A 1.77 goals against, and 1.64 for her career. This is now her 3rd year with Penn State. Fiddler on the tie-up. Tarnowski took it away, had her stick lifted by Nelson. Nelson's shot gets through to Stewart, and she makes the save. And with each stop from Stewart, you're hearing a nice cheer from the Terrier bench as that one snuck up on her a little bit along the right post, but she's able to hug the bar.
Well, Stewart just starting just her 3rd game in her career, but she already has a win over BC, and that's something that a lot of BU goalies haven't been able to say in the last few years.
Shot was blocked right in front. Rebound comes in on Stewart, looking for it, but it's through for a goal. She made the first save, maybe even a couple more, but in the end, Penn State able to strike first, and Shane Nelson leads the line back to the bench.
That's just good persistence there by Penn State, being able to clean up the garbage right in front of the BU net there. I think it was either a second or maybe even a 3rd chance opportunity, as there were a couple of bodies flurrying right in front of Stewart before that one went in.
See who they officially announced the goal for as we get another look. Looked like Nelson came right in there at the very end. We'll wait for the announcement. A 1-0 Penn State. That was the score yesterday, but we didn't have it until the third period. Not halfway through the opening frame, with only one shot on target from BU to this point, and 15 total shots from Penn State, 8 of them getting in on Stewart. It has been a good start from Penn State so far. Schuler got aggressive at the blue line, and back the other way comes Slattery. Sends one toward the middle, and Stewart makes another save. She's been good with the pads in the early going. And it will be the goal for Shea Nelson. Natalie Heisen gets the assist. Davis feeds the middle. Shot was blocked. Parker right in front, loose to Schuler, and she slides it along the end line.
Sammy Davis there really recognizing how the play was going to develop, going down low and realizing that Brenneman had taken away that short angle, trying to feed it out front, and then a good active stick by the Penn State defenseman just kicking that back out.
Another chance maybe in front as Elia made a nice effort to get through 2 defenders, but Brenneman was on top of that loose puck. Good response from the Terriers after giving up the goal to Shea Nelson. Natalie Heising now with a 10-goal and 10-assist season at the halfway point, and the other assist went to Micah Meyer. Terriers got the face-off win, but McLeod is able to clear it out. Madsen in from the wall. Rankin gets it back to McMillan, and the tie-up in the corner. Reagan Rust breaks free. Let's see how tough Penn State makes it to break out cleanly, but some creative passing frees up Tarnowski into the offensive end. Through traffic, sends one toward the slot, backhanded toward the net by Wuthridge, but didn't get through.
And you're seeing BU generate a little bit more time in the offensive zone because their clean breaks in from the neutral zone.
This one redirected behind the cage. We talked about the possession, the blocked shots, and the shot advantage for Penn State, all part of their 1-goal lead right now as this one goes wide of the goaltender. But the Terriers showing 4 blocked shots against just 1 from the Nittany Lions to this point in the game. Correa finds Stanley on the backhand. She's turned aside with the glove of Brennan, and Abby Stanley has that ability to come up in the offensive end, although she has not scored yet this year.
Yeah, you did talk about that two-way ability by Stanley there. She showcases it with that rush up front. She probably would have liked to get that one on her forehand if she could have that back, but just kind of the way the Penn State defense was pinching in, having to go to the backhand and flick a shot in.
Second face-off win in 6 tries for the Terriers comes in their offensive zone. Now Jesse Comfort slips one down to Parker, crunched against the boards by Gangarosa. Parker had it taken away. The battle along the boards continues. Parker came free for a moment but didn't have the puck cleanly, and Heising will slide it back down to the Terrier zone. Line change for Penn State.
Almost got caught with too many players on the ice.
Always dangerous when you got that line change puck coming down toward the bench. And did well to get the skaters off. Shanahan turned away momentarily from Abby Welch, but her pass was picked off. It comes right back to Welch along the wall, sends it right between the circles, but kicked away. McKenna Parker was in there, and Comfort wants the counterattack. She's in with Davis, taken down over the blue line. They'll keep playing. Shot from Davis was blocked by Adolphson. She sheds Elia, looks to her left, and connects with Mayer. Alex Allen got to it in the end. Now D'Souza fanned on the centering feed, but got it right back with help from Schuler. He'll skate in towards Heminger. It comes loose to D'Souza. Her shot gobbled up by Brenneman with 7:24 to go. And no surprise, Dave, we're seeing some more possession and good shot opportunities for BU ever since allowing that first goal.
Yeah, the counterpunch that BU is having here is really what they need to do, and you can't sit back on your heels once Penn State has been the aggressor early on. You saw it in the first 5 minutes of the first game, too, where Penn State had that goal disallowed, and then the Terriers really came back out and took advantage the rest of the first period, unable to best Brenneman in similar situation unfolding now, but this time the goal counts.
The top line is so heavily relied on for the Terriers, with Davis and Comfort combining for 22 goals this year. And Penn State aware of that, trying to match up their top defensive pairing as often as possible, certainly with Captain Kelsey Crow and Renee Gangarosa, the impressive freshman who's had her name called several times today on the broadcast already. D'Souza had it taken away as Christy Vetter, a grad student, got the stick in. That one snapped in by Schuler. A line change coming for the Terriers. It'll be Courtney Correa, Emma Withrich, and Natasha Tarnowski, 2 freshmen and a junior on that second line. And another impressive recruiting class from head coach Brian DeRocher. We talked about Kate Stewart having a solid opening period despite the 1 goal that was allowed with plenty of traffic in front. A lot of team speed you're seeing with skaters like Courtney Correa this year.
Yeah, they definitely are replacing the team speed they lost in Rebecca Leslie and Victoria Bach last year with a young freshman class.
Here comes Correa off to the races, sends one behind the skates of Tarnowski, and she had Crow right on her hip anyway.
I like that centering pass feed with Tarnowski crashing down low. I'd like to see it more on the ice, though, instead of fluttering.
That one goes behind for Alex Allen. Madsen right there with her. And Correa will send this one down. And the wave off the icing. We've avoided the icing so far today.
Maybe all that extra water helping the Terriers out in that situation.
So worth the wait. We started maybe 100 seconds or so after our scheduled 1 o'clock puck drop, as offside is whistled here with 5:39 to go. So many things have changed for BU since the start of the season, but mostly the record. They were a 500 team, 3-4-4 until November began. They beat UConn, beat Vermont, tied Vermont, and then after a loss to Boston College, they defeated BC, a team that a lot of people expect to make to the Frozen Four, if not win the whole thing. They beat Boston College twice in a row, at home and on the road. And when you beat a team like Boston College, who had 3 Olympians last year, you got to believe you can beat anybody in the country.
Yeah, especially where they were able to do it 2 games in a row. That really shows some consistency in their effort and their play. That was coming towards the end of that big stretch that they were on to start out. So you saw that everything really came to a head there, specifically their power play. I believe against BC they had 2 or 3 power play goals in that game. They ended up winning here at Walter Brown.
Pass picked off by Parker, but with her back to the net, not much to create with there. It comes to Adolphson. And this Terrier team, especially the upperclassmen, they recognized last year wasn't their finest effort as Parker makes the save. I think the phrase they use is the effort was there, the talent was there, but one of the few seasons where they didn't hoist any trophies at some point during the campaign. So even without Bach and Leslie, it's been awfully impressive to see the run they've gone on, and not just against non-conference teams.
And I think a big part of that is you see what they brought back on the defensive side, where they retained one of their main goaltenders in Corrine Schroeder. They bring back nearly everybody on defense and then add the quality freshmen that they've had. So I think when you build from the back end like that, you can really start to win some grind-out games. We've seen a lot of their low-scoring contests they've been successful in.
After today's game against Penn State, it's Hockey East play the rest of the way. Doubleheader at Maine next weekend on Friday and Saturday. Saturday and Sunday, beg your pardon. That one up and out of play. Final 4.5 minutes coming here in the first period. And I think compared to yesterday's game, David, a lot more back and forth action, open ice as we expected.
Yeah, definitely. You're seeing both teams have really gotten their legs under them. They've been able to move in transition quickly, and the passing is there, which is something I thought lacked at the beginning of yesterday's game.
We have not seen any penalties either. Remember, including last night, Penn State has scored a power play goal in 4 consecutive games. It came from Izzy Heminger, who also became the 3rd Nittany Lion ever to be named CHA Rookie of the Week. It happened in November. Scarpaci from way out had it go off a fellow number 17, Sophie Slattery, and they'll keep the face-off in front of Brenneman.
Slattery getting her stick right in that shooting lane as she saw Scarpaci kind of reaching back to uncork a wrist shot.
6-5 face-off advantage for Penn State so far. Now we're tied 6-6. One-timer from Reagan Russ didn't get halfway through. Angled in, hoping for Donnelly, but a nice stick from Gangarosa. You can see why they've got the freshman on the top defensive pairing with the captain, Kelsey Crow. Speaking of which, Crow takes a tumble. Tarnowski had it, but despite the calls from Donnelly and Correa in front, couldn't get the puck through it. Now it's Gangarosa. Up the wing, Brooke Madsen. Kept alive. And that one redirected out of play again. I really haven't seen too much sustained offensive possession from Penn State. BU has flipped a switch here, but no goals to show for it just yet. They've got 5 block shots against 4 for Penn State. As we said, face-offs even 6-6. And they've narrowed the gap a little bit in the shot total. It's 11-5, Nittany Lions. Entry feed blocked there by Abby Cook, who has been rock solid as a blue liner since her first day with the Terriers a couple of years ago. Hockey East all-rookie team, and she's been on the all-conference teams in some capacity really every step of the way. Here's Comfer leading the charge. 3-on-2. Finds Parker, but she missed the target. Comes hard off the end boards out to Cook. Adolphson slowed her down. And if that's not the best chance of the day for the Terriers, I missed something else. That was quite a bit. Davis ahead to center. She'll get it right back. Dumps in for a line change. And more and more you see those top 3 skaters play together, Davis, Comfer, and Parker, the more imposing their 3-on-2 odd man rushes can be. They have really found some chemistry. And
that's really good for the development of a player like Parker, where you've seen Comfer and Davis have the ability, they have the points, and then you get a young star like Parker going in and really starting to develop her game with that top line. It bodes well for the future.
Schuler got turned around at the Terrier blue line, gave it up to Fiddler. Fiddler offside whistled here as D'Souza slowed her down. Just over 2 minutes to go in the first period. Penn State, with the goal from Shane Nelson, has an early 1-0 lead. Nelson scoring her 4th goal of the year. The sophomore now has 6 in her career. Goal came just about 9 minutes into this first period. A period that started with 6 Penn State shots and nothing on target for BU. Elia D'Souza, neither could possess, and it comes to Nelson. She'll carry it out, under 2 minutes left in the frame now. Schuler took it right off her stick. She turns toward goal. Into the offensive end, the shot covered by Brenneman. Didn't get the first one cleanly, but puts the glove on with 1:50 left. Schuler coming in hard with Tarnowski as well. Out there with Withrich, Correa, and Galway. Schuler coming off the ice, and they'll get Reagan Rust in there defensively as well. Comes to Rust off the face-off win. Thought about a shot, but she'll skate around Meyer instead. That one redirected toward goal by Withrich, but just offline. Good work from Correa to force the issue down in the corner. They'll sling it along to the other end. Adolphson beat to the puck by Rust. Under 90 seconds to go in the opening period. Centering pass goes off the stick of Adolphson. Correa was in there, but the pass a little bit off target. Now it comes to center ice, where Mayer gave it right back to the Terriers. Tarnowski had it go off her shin. And now Penn State able to squeeze it through. Blue line for Vetter. Comes back to Redland. Comfer pokes it free. It comes to Reagan Rust. Tried to carom that one ahead. Nearly went into the bench. Door comes open. Parker comes out. And a quick 2-on-2 chance maybe here for Penn State. Vetter angles out wide. Not much of a passing lane. They got all the way through, but nobody home in blue. Half a minute left. Davis struggling to clear. Now she's able to do so. That one tipped ahead. Comfer reaching out for it. Couldn't slow it down, but nearly won the race into the corner. Upended by Ridland. They'll play on. 13 seconds left on the first period clock. Davis turned off the puck. It comes loose behind for Ridland. Final seconds here in the period, and they'll just wind this down along the wall. A first period goal 9 minutes in from Shane Nelson as Penn State ahead 1-0 after 2 scoreless periods yesterday to start the game. Bit of a different feel through 20 minutes, Dave.
Yeah, Penn State, when you come out in the second, just keep doing what you were doing in the first. You're moving things around well. You're being physical in your own defensive zone, and that's throwing the Terriers off their game. If you're BU, I'd like to see you to bear down a little bit more when you're in the offensive zone, win more of those battles along the side walls, and grind it out to be able to generate some more offensive zone time and move the puck around.
Stick around, folks. We'll come back with the second period. Heading to break. We'll return in a minute. Before the start of the next period, this is BU Women's Ice Hockey on Terrier TV on Stadium. Taking a look at the only goal we've seen so far. It was on the second or maybe even third effort from Shea Nelson to get the only tally past Kate Stewart today. Tyler Murray with Dave Souza as we take a look at some of the stats from the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, if you look at shots on goal, Penn State leading the Terriers 11-7 block shots. BU up with a 5-4 advantage in faceoffs, which we mentioned were really one side or the other in the first 2 periods yesterday. Relatively even now with BU holding a slight advantage at 8-7.
We got the A-team on duty today. Happy New Year, everybody. Nick McCool on graphics, Leo Perret, our executive producer and technical director. Speaking of the A-team, that's been BU ever since the beginning of November. If they can't come back from this 1-0 deficit, which is not as easy as you might think. I know Penn State has a sub-500 record, 7-9-3, but if there's one team, maybe along with UConn, that can hang on to a slim lead like this, it is the tough defense, grind it out with good goaltending, too, from Jenna Brenneman. Penn State certainly capable of doing so.
And you mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, Penn State very similar to UConn in Hockey East, where they really make you grind and work for goals early on, and they always have good goaltending that makes things even more difficult once you kind of get past their onion-like defense that just seems to always have another layer to it.
Puck drop for the second period. Penn State now going from left to right, and here they come right away, but Reagan Rust able to pick that one off. Gets it ahead to Sammy Davis. A brief chance for maybe a 2-on-2, but it's sent right back to the Terrier end. We'll keep mentioning how red hot the Terriers have been. It's not just the record, it's the numbers they've put up. They're averaging 4 goals per game entering the weekend since November 1st, and allowing just over a goal and a half on average. This one goes over the top and out of play, and Jenna Brenneman gives it a look. It'll be tough to beat her today. They maybe had 1 or 2 grade A chances. The one that sticks out was Comfort, Davis, and Parker. That top line coming down 3-on-2, and Parker had a chance but just missed one over the crossbar that would have tied the game. And last night as well, Dave, a few opportunities in overtime for the Terriers to come away with that sudden death goal, but 1-1 was the final score.
Yeah, it's tough to beat a good goalie like Brenneman, and the Terriers have really struggled throughout the first 4 periods in the overtime that they've had with Penn State over the last 2 days.
Souza had that one go off her stick toward the Terrier line. Now Allen comes in to intercept, and Schuler will turn back to Abby Cook. Banked ahead to Elia, and a line change coming as she dumps this one into Souza. Pursues well to find possession. Looking toward the middle. Saucers one through, but over the stick of Schuler. Tried the one-timer, but couldn't get the handle on it. Schuler digging it out, comes along the corner boards. Correa hoping to shake free of Kelsey Crow. Easier said than done, though, against the senior captain. Scarpacci brings it off the wall. Now back around through Tarnowski and over to Correa. At the blue line, Stanley winds and fires. That one got the blade of the stick of Loli Fiddler and over the top of everything. Withrich took the puck away from behind the cage, looking for a wraparound, goes all the way through the crease and finds the stick of Fiddler again.
Well, the Terriers with good pace early on in this second period. Penn State came out and was dominating early on in the first, and now BU with the counterpunch here at the early part of the second.
Correa's shot was blocked. What a diving attempt there from Adolfson to keep it away. There were 2 Terriers waiting by the post for maybe a rebound or even a pass. Icing waved off the last moment there. Looked like Abby Welch got close enough to Scarpacci, who got to the puck momentarily. At the blue line, this one kicked away by Stewart. The rebound comes right back to her. She kept it out as well. What an effort from the freshman goaltender, moving to her right. A left pad save, and it stays 1-0.
Yeah, Stewart with great composure there, being able to track the rebounds and cover up. I think that's where Penn State was able to capitalize on their first goal, where there was a big scrum, a lot of bodies in front of the net. They were able to poke one home. Here you see Stewart, reaction time, able to track that one down and cover it up, though Penn State thought there was a little bit of a quick whistle.
The puck was free at the very end of the sequence, but you said the play was blown dead. Nice slip through from McKenna Parker. She's off to the races. Davis and Comfer in there with her. Got it all the way across to Davis, but couldn't put it on the goal. Right back to Parker.
You know, it's tough for BU on these odd man rushes because you have a great goalie in Brenneman, so going one-on-one and not utilizing the pass, Brenneman's going to be square up to those chances, and it's hard to beat her as is. And then Penn State defensively just does a great job of choking off those passing opportunities and getting sticks in the passing lane. So either option, it's really tough in either way.
It looks like there have been some passing lanes in the slot, but you're right. They've been closed out quickly by Penn State. If they don't get to the initial pass, they're closing right down on the puck carrier. Now Parker, Karen's one ahead. She takes a tumble. Still no penalties called in this game for either side. It's been an electric special teams run for the Terriers as of late, but more trouble here as McLeod whistles one wide, charging in on Stewart. Just over the Terrier line. This one up in the air now. Christy Vetter couldn't get it toward goal. Nice job by Alex Allen on the backhand. There was trouble if she didn't get that cleanly. Now D'Souza. Dukes away from trouble. Allen on the one-timer. Slap shot knocked down right in front. It looked like Nara Elia got the worst of that one.
That's a good decision, though, there by Allen with a screen in front of Brenneman trying to throw one in. Maybe you get a screen, maybe you get a tip, and Elia put just a little bit too much of a tip on it, and she ended up eating most of it.
It was 11-7 in shots favoring Penn State at the break. 13-9 now the total. Here's some nice stick work from Withridge through traffic, sends one toward goal, and denied on the doorstep. Down the other end of the ice. A nice tap of the stick on the post from the goaltender Stewart. As you feel BU building some momentum here, trailing by one.
And that's also good to have a lot of players in front of that in case Brenneman gives up rebounds there. You saw that she was able to swallow that one up and not give that second chance opportunity, but it just takes one, and with the Terriers trailing by a goal, that's the difference between a tie game and, you know, heading for a potential loss.
Withridge wins the face-off. Comes out to Scarpesi. Back to the blue line, Tarnowski sends it through blindly. Nobody home except Brooke Madsen. Down for Abby Stanley. Former North Dakota skater, transferred here before the beginning of last season. She's been a huge addition as this one is poked up over the top. Slung in past Rankin. Madsen turns away from Stanley. Tarnowski couldn't block that shot. Comes all the way in on Stewart. Didn't get it cleanly with the glove and poked through by Rankin again. Correa now off target for Tarnowski, and a line change for McMillan and Penn State. Terriers scored just once yesterday. Not until the third period did Sammy Davis tie the score. Stick was lifted there off of Correa. Shane Nelson's having a good afternoon. Does she have a second goal? Not this time. Stewart denies. Nelson had a tip-home goal in the first. That's the only scoring so far. Still putting pressure on here. Shot was knocked down at the point by Correa. Sports information staff here in the building from Penn State saying Shane Nelson's having one of her best games as a Nittany Lion now in her sophomore campaign. Almost had another goal in the first with a backhand shot, which was roofed over the top. This one whistles high over Stewart and out toward Parker. Over 5 minutes gone by in the second frame.
Now, I want to go back to that chance by Nelson. Well, I think an underappreciated part of that play was Abby Cook coming in and taking away that pass right off the bench. So that way Nelson had to go one-on-one with Stewart, who was already squared up to her.
Not many other skaters in Hockey East that are more reliable as a defensive defenseman than Abby Cook, and she can certainly put it in the net as well. 6 goals this year, which doubles her career total. Obviously getting the assist from the blue line, but on the power play especially, whether or not we get to see it today, she has a cannon from the blue paint. Now Galway fanned on one. Heisinger hoping to tip it ahead, but Meyer couldn't get to it. Centering pass attempt from Heising that time off target. She had her 10th assist of the season on the Shane Nelson goal. She's got 10 goals as well to lead her team in both departments this year. Schuler now. Through traffic, it goes behind the cage. Pinching in Scarpesi, kept it alive. Finally turned around along the wall. Schuler able to find some real estate. Now Scarpaci again as they stay up against those left wing boards. Eventually it comes to Gangarosa. Brommersberger with a dump and chase. Stanley goes down. We stay penalty free in this game though as Schuler caroms one ahead through Adolphson. And eventually ricochets out to Scarpaci. Couple of point streaks on the line for the Terriers today. Sammy Davis, 10 games in a row with a point, including the game-tying goal yesterday. And Jesse Comfer, a 14-game point streak, including assists in all 14 games. We said earlier, the longest active assist streak in the country. He always figured it would be a solid season for the sophomore Jesse Comfer, as this one is gloved by the goaltender Brenneman. But especially after she came back from U.S. National Development Camp a week or two there and came back telling folks that she played very well. And for someone who seems as humble as Jesse Comfer, if she is tooting her own horn, you know she felt awfully good about what she did on the national stage, and it's certainly showing up here in regular season play.
And you saw Comfer have a really good rookie season, and you were wondering how it was going to be with her facing off against teams' top pairs of defensemen. Now with Bach and Leslie off the top line and her elevated there, and she has responded resoundingly, coming up and being one of the Terriers' top scorers and top producers.
Yeah, really well-rounded player, goals, assists, and certainly defensive play as well. I don't think it's possible to replicate or replace the Bach and Leslie combo, but Davis and Comfer, the numbers they're putting up, both having scored 11 goals this year in 17 total games. This is number 18. Awfully impressive. From the point all the way past Stewart, and it comes out to Ridland. Nelson, the goal scorer, slides it along the boards, but Penn State has to retreat. They've got the full top line out there now, or at least part of it. Parker just came on to join Comfer. Nara Ely is skating with the top line of forwards for the moment, with Rust and Galway at the blue line. Nice job by Allen on the backhand to get a piece of that one. Now Comfer got hit, lost a glove, able to shovel this one out of the zone. Ricochets over toward Parker, who took a hit on the shoulder from Heising, and Penn State possesses again. Allen comes off. D'Souza gets in. There's still a glove just picked up by Comfer as Stewart picks up a puck, whistling in from a tough angle, but nearly snuck through.
We talked about how BU would come out well to start the second. Now you're seeing the pushback by Penn State. They're coming up with a real nice counterattack here and really trying to put pressure on BU. They know that it's going to be a low-scoring affair unless things break from the norm that we've seen established through the first 4.5 periods. So if you can get another one, that really starts putting the pressure on the Terriers with the game about halfway through. Penn
State still leading in shots 16-13 and in the goal column 1-0. That last face-off was win number 12 out of 22 for BU, so they've got a 2-draw edge so far at the circle. Stanley couldn't bank it out, just staying on side. 2-on-1, tight quarters. Stewart makes the save with the blocker. Coming into her right was Renee Gangarosa.
And BU clogged up the slot right there, forcing her to the outside, and a low percentage shot there with Stewart hugging the post.
Nice pass from Scarpaci to set up Schuler. Gets in with Elia and D'Souza, while Allen and Cook will check in defensively. D'Souza looking for Elia, puck in the air, goes off the apron of the net behind the cage. D'Souza out to Schuler from the circle, she shoots, and a pad save made by Brenneman. Allen, diagonal pass all the way in front, but poked away by Brenneman. What a feed from Allen, but D'Souza was beat to the puck by the goalie.
That's just great awareness of where your teammates are going to be on the ice. You see D'Souza, it almost seemed like she came out of nowhere because she had a Nittany line right in her back pocket, and then Allen, to borrow a football term, kind of threw her open to a spot where she was going to be. D'Souza goes, picks it up, and has a great chance in on Brenneman.
Wuthrich lowers the shoulder. Still with the puck, feeds the middle, loose for Correa. It winds up airborne and finds the stick of a Nittany Lion. It's Brooke Madsen. Out toward Anna Promersberger. Handing off to Katie Rankin, cutting through the defense, but couldn't get it away from Tarnowski. Promersberger didn't get all of that one. 2-on-1 if they get through clean, but good recovery from Brooke Madsen to slow it down.
Yeah, I just don't think Tarnowski got all of that one on the kind of self-indirect pass.
Correa gave it away. Rankin charging in, but she's met by Rust. Adolphson spins free of Withrich. Sends one toward goal. Stewart closes the pads. Sending to the middle and a save by Stewart. Nice job. Madsen was right there. Got it through Galway, but not the goaltender.
And Connor Galway doing all she can to tie up Brooke Madsen in front of that net. And Madsen still able to fight through, get her stick on the ice, and just get a quick tap of that one right in on Stewart point blank.
Over halfway through regulation here. It's still a 1-0 lead for Penn State. Shane Nelson with her 4th goal of the season. It came 9 minutes in. We've got a timeout from Boston University. One of the earliest timeouts I've seen from Brian DeRocher.
This reminds me of a game that the Terriers played up in UNH last season where it was midway through the game. I believe the Terriers were actually leading at that point, but when things start to go off the rails a little bit and the other team really starts pressuring and the defense starts kind of running all over the place, he likes to call a timeout, settle the troops down, and basically preach a message of staying consistent and keeping things simple. And I think that would be the message here, where Penn State, as we talked about, really having that counterattack midway through here in the second period, putting the pressure on BU and starting to really dominate control here in this period, moving the puck around. So get back to the basics, return to the simple plays, get the puck through the neutral zone, and start building some time up in the O-zone.
As Brian DeRocher talking to his team, it was Liz, Katie Norton on the left there, and Tara Watchorn, a former Terrier great, on his right. Terrific coaching staff. Watchorn joined at the start of last season. Norton also in her 2nd year. Brian DeRocher's been here since the beginning, 14th season, and this Terrier team has seen 6 NCAA tournament appearances, most recently in 2015. That was when they made the tournament. Well, it was happening just about every year. 2011 through 2015, 5 in a row. What a run that was. And with this recent stretch of success in season since November 1st, as we've been mentioning, it seems like they're well on their way to getting back to the highest of heights in Hockey East and beyond. So a timeout about midway through regulation from Brian DeRocher. We'll see how the Terriers respond coming out of the break. Again, it's been 5-on-5 hockey the entire way. Comes over the blue line, McKenna Parker. Slowed down by Christy Vetti. Scarpesi gets the handoff from Parker, charges toward net. That one goes off of Parker's stick, off the wall now. Comfort pinned up against the boards by Ridland. And here we are, the first penalty of the day. And it looks like it's coming against BU. Scarpesi standing by the bench, but it's going to be Davis heading toward the penalty box. Hooking was signaled, I believe, and it will put Penn State on the power play with 7:49 to go in the second period. We said earlier the Terrier penalty kill has been on a tear. In their last 7 wins, BU is 25 out of the last 27 on the penalty kill, 92.5%.
And we talked about how much of a role this Penn State power play has been on in the last 4 games, a power play goal in each contest. And if they were to do so in their 5th consecutive game on this power play, it would really put the pressure on BU.
Russ working hard for it, but Madsen stays with possession, but it gets through the stick of Izzy Heminger. So not exactly what the Terrier coaching staff had in mind following the timeout. They go right to the penalty kill.
But a good penalty kill can also build momentum if you can really keep Penn State from generating chances and generating shots. So if you're able to send the puck down the ice, kill off the penalty, then you get one of your best players back in Davis. Things can start with an uptick.
Speaking of best players, Heising gets all the way through to Stewart, but she's turned away. You're right, Dave. This is a golden opportunity for Penn State with the first power play of the day for either side to double their lead, because the way they defend and the goaltender Brenneman allowing 1.7 goals a game, they could really put themselves in prime position with a power play goal here. They've scored 4 consecutive power play goals, and this one is whistled wide. It should specify the last 4 games they've had a power play goal, including yesterday in the 1-1 tie. Slap shot on Stewart, knocked it up into the air, and on the right post, it's handled by Galway. What a job there with the stick to keep it away from Rankin. Comes back to Rankin off the skates of Galway. Comfer lost the handle, lifts Rankin's stick, and Galway will take this one out of danger for the time being. Russ shoveling it toward the blue line, and just enough bounce on it to get past the skate of Adolphson.
I really like the stick work by BU on this penalty kill. We've seen it from Galway, Comfer, and Russ throwing their sticks into the passing lanes, lifting sticks and knocking the puck away when it's been almost a foot race and they get right near it.
Power play is over, but still some tired penalty killers on the ice for the Terriers. Nelson, blue line, McMillan shot redirected, trickling toward the crease. Stewart helps out Comfer, slow down that puck. Tarnowski looks up ice, Comfer is there. Davis wants it, couldn't get it all the way through. Good stick from Gangarosa. Offside the call, but the Terriers do get that penalty kill, and as you hope they might, Dave, not a ton of good opportunities allowed by the Terriers there.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job of keeping things to the outside, clogging up the middle when things went towards the center of the high slot there to prevent chances on Stewart, and then Stewart responding with a save or two when she needed to.
Almost taking a page out of the Nittany Lions book defensively, and not a bad team to emulate on that side of the ice. Sophie Slattery plays it off the bank. Schuler was met at the Terrier line by Welch. Welch taken down. Schuler eventually wins the battle. Jukes away from McLeod. Looking for Elia. The race ensues. She beats Ridlin to the puck. Centering pass for Schuler. That one gets through. Final 5 minutes of the second period. Still just the 1 goal from Shea Nelson at 8:57 in the opening period. On a rush in on Stewart, she made the first save. What a rebound. Either the first or the second one was poked through by Nelson to get her 4th goal of the year. And that one apparently snuck into the bench, and they'll blow it dead with 10 new skaters coming your way onto the ice. Again, it's a rare Monday game for the Terriers. They're 2-1-0 all time on the first day of the work week. Hopefully you're enjoying this from the comfort of your home, but if you are working here on New Year's Eve, I know some folks did, including my broadcast partner Dave Souza. Check out his work, Fox 25 Internet coverage.
Thanks for the plug.
Well earned, well earned. But we do appreciate all this working out there today. Hopefully some time off and some celebration for you coming up in, about 10 hours or so. A little less than that. 2018 coming to a close. Terriers have finished, and they hope to finish on quite a tear as they reestablish themselves in Hockey East. 2 games at Maine coming up next weekend. They've taken on some of the Titans in town. Northeastern's been a tough out, but we keep saying those 2 wins against Boston College really set the tone ever since November began for this team. 3:46 to go here in the second. Comes all the way back to Stewart, who has not so quietly had a great 3rd game in her Terrier career. Not a whole lot she could have done on that first goal as icing is whistled. 3:37 left. We're dead even in face-offs, 13-13. BU has an 11-6 lead in block shots. And shots on goal, Penn State, give them credit. Maybe BU has carried the action a little bit more here since the goal was given up, but still 22-14 in favor of the Nittany Lions in shots on goal. That power play tends to help, but they had very few opportunities with clean looks at the net with the 5-on-4 extra skater. This one thrown toward the crease, kept out, and you see the bodies in front with blue jerseys anytime the Terriers get close to an opportunity. McMillan brings it around. Russ gets in there, goes down with Madsen getting a stick in. Rankin out toward the captain, Kelsey Crow, and a kick save by Stewart. 3 minutes left. Terriers had no goals on 13 shots the first 2 periods yesterday. Right now, no goals on 14 shots, with still 2+ minutes to remedy that. Rust out toward Elia, unable to reach her stick out for it, so it comes to Fiddler. 22 saves for the freshman, Kate Stewart. Corrine Schroeder getting a breather here before a big Hockey East weekend in Maine. Again, Schroeder on a streak of 195 minutes without having allowed an even strength goal. Yesterday's Penn State Cold came on the power play. Schuler gets aggressive on the forecheck, couldn't take it away. Would have been offside here, and I thought it was. Now they whistle it with 2:10 to go. And just the one power play, the only outlier so far in the second period. Maybe reminiscent a little bit of yesterday, Dave, where both teams have been almost in a stalemate, but Penn State's happy with that with their one-goal advantage.
Yeah, definitely. The way Penn State's been playing in the defensive zone, got to enjoy, keeping things even strength in your own end and getting a power play.
Now Schuler inside. Winding down the final 2 minutes of this second period. Shanahan has to make a decision. She's going to go after it and canceled out the puck. Would have been some room for Slattery if she got through cleanly. Offside waved off here. Heminger gets in, and Stewart is there. She has been locked in this afternoon. A lot of good options now. I'm sure Brian DeRocher is quickly realizing when he fills out his line sheet every day.
Well, it never hurts when you have two goalies that can come in and play well for you, especially against a team where you don't generate good scoring chances against because of how well they play defensively. So if you can have a good back line and a goalie like a Stewart or like a Schroeder, you really keep yourself in a lot of low-scoring games.
Surprising, though, with the Terriers' recent success in the goal-scoring department, averaging 4 goals per game since November 1st, that they've been held off the board again for what could be the first 2 periods of a game. Especially, you look at that 8-0 win against RIT. They had 8 different goal scorers, if you can believe it. And it's happened before in Terrier history. They did it back in 2009. They beat Northeastern. Withridge slipping through, but forced away from the goal. Final minute of period 2. And that last game before the layoff, 8-0. Comfer, Cook, Correa, Davis, D'Souza, Donnelly, Elia, and Tarnowski all scoring goals for BU in a landslide win. Tarnowski couldn't get a clean passing lane. Cook gets set back. Good hustle there along the wall. Davis didn't want to give up on the play. Comes free to Comfer. Some room in the slot. She shoots, and a save by Brenneman. One of the best chances the Terriers have had all period, and maybe not a grade A, but that's how tough it's been to find space.
Yeah, she did a great job kind of using a moving screen there with the defender following her, but the puck just skeetered ahead of her stick before she was able to get a shot on net.
Parker on the move, tried a short side bid. Brenneman is there with the glove. She has seen 16 shots from the Terriers and kept every one out. A junior from Eagan, Minnesota, playing all but 1 game so far for Penn State. Chantel Burke, the sophomore from Saskatchewan, has played a couple of times, but 1 official result. It was a loss. 82.8 save percentage. Brenneman clearly the #1 option. Late rush here with a save for Stewart, and Penn State more than content to take a 1-0 lead into the second intermission. We saw a timeout from BU, a good penalty kill, and if you had to pick one team that had the better of the play, maybe you're looking at the Terriers there, but still Penn State, it feels like they've really earned this 1-goal advantage.
Exactly. In the third period, I'd like to see some consistencies on both sides of the ice for each team. I'd like Penn State. We saw in the early part of that second period where they really started opening things up and moving the puck around. Then they get a great opportunity on the power play, and they just fall flat where BU's defense rises to the occasion. They keep them outside. For BU, I'd like to see them generate some more scoring chances just by being more consistent in the offensive zone with their passing and their shot selection. 1
period left in 2018, pending potential overtime, which we saw yesterday. Stick around for it, folks. It's Penn State 1, BU 0. You're tuned in to BU Women's Hockey on Terrier TV on Stadium. 2 periods in the books. Penn State's first period goal from Shea Nelson still standing up 40 minutes into play. And as we begin the third period, Dave Souza, what's your takeaway from the stat sheet in front of us here?
Well, Penn State definitely earning their advantage in shots on goal. I thought especially in the first period, they were the ones that were really dictating the pace. They came out in the second, and after BU had the first 5 minutes really of dominating offense, Penn State kind of returned to form there. But after the power play, BU started turning things around. I'd like to see them build off of that more going into the third.
Like we saw before the game began, they do have a squeegee out, the referees. Still trying to get some of the moisture off the ice here at Walter Brown Arena. The final game of 2018. Last night was the 17th game of the year for BU. They've got 17 more to come after, including this one, in fact. And Hockey East play from here on out following this third period, and maybe some overtime action like we saw yesterday.
Yeah, we're getting the squeegee down the other end of the ice, too. A lot of excess water pooled around the crease and behind the net areas.
Not a bitterly cold December 31st day here in Boston. Been some nice sunny weather. We got 44 degrees, my phone tells me. Can't always trust it, but we're good to go. With Sammy Davis ready in the face-off circle. Plan to be joined by Katie Rankin, but now, just off to the right of your screen, the Penn State goaltender Jenna Brenneman, who's pitching a shutout so far with 16 saves, is sweeping up some moisture out of her crease. There she is.
I wonder if they're going to break the squeegee back out as referee Rick Santilli signaled to his counterparts over near the penalty box. I think they're content to just let Brenneman just use her skates, but now we're getting a call to the rink gentleman as Russell Tedford, one of the linesmen, goes over and signals. See what he's going to grab. It'll be a second squeegee.
Better safe than sorry, and you know Jenna Brenneman has a good feel for the crease. She's been terrific today, moving well from left to right, and you'd hate to see her shutout ended because of something that was avoidable, so might as well take another minute or two.
Well, it's hard to see just that the way the lighting is in here, but you saw a little bit with the way that the referees are pushing the water around. There's a lot of excess water specifically behind the net. They've cleaned out the crease area now, so that at least it looks like it's back to normal. But behind the net, you can see just from our vantage point the reflection that the lights are having, and it is a little soupy back there on top of the Hockey East logo.
Hopefully a quick fix, though. But maybe not so much. Probably 2 minutes before puck drop is how long it took to get the game officially underway, and now with maybe a more extended wait, it's going to give head coach Brian DeRocher some time to gather his troops over by the BU bench. Doesn't need to say much at this point. They had their time to conference in the locker room, and you saw during that timeout with about 8:30 to go in the second period, he was trying to light a fire underneath the team, and they certainly responded well with a good penalty kill. And I think for the majority of the game, they've had the better of the goal-scoring chances. But again, it was Shea Nelson on a rebound with bodies in front that has the one tally so far. You saw there Captain Kelsey Crow waving to the crowd. There's a pretty good Penn State contingent behind the Nittany Lions bench, making the trip here. Same story for BU as well, especially at the time during the year when classes are not in session. You got to be impressed with the number of people here at Walter Brown Arena.
And now on your screen, you're seeing the referees checking out an area in the BU crease. I wonder what the situation is, if it's maybe a case of not enough ice or the squeegee hanging out over there, but it looks like they've dug into that blue paint just in front of the goal line near the left post. And now we'll have the rink manager come out and have a further delay here.
Again, it's a better safe than sorry scenario. You saw Brenneman right from the outset wasn't quite comfortable with her footing, I suppose, and it's a fully dedicated hockey facility here, so.
Not an unreasonable complaint there from Brenneman either. It wasn't like she was being, picky or anything like that, as we're seeing the water being cooled off down on our end, and Rick Santilli accompanying the rink manager down on the other end. So a couple of little cosmetic issues here before the start of the third.
Gives us time to remind you about the Junior Terriers Club, the best way for kids in 8th grade and below to experience BU athletics. It's just $20. Kids get free admission to all regular season men's and women's basketball, lacrosse, and soccer games, plus women's ice hockey and even some men's ice hockey games, plus pizza parties, a Junior Terriers Club t-shirt, and more. For more information, visit goterriers.com/Junior Terriers, JR Terriers. Once again, that's goterriers.com/JR Terriers. And they're apparently now maybe satisfied with the BU crease. You're getting a look now at the goal.
Yeah, you can see a lot of water on your screen right now coming out of the back of the Penn State net. That's probably what Brennan was complaining about, where if it was all pooled up there, the crease must have been similar before the initial stoppage before the beginning of the period. And you can see all that big pool just being pushed off. And, you know, the danger with a lot of water in the ice comes particularly from a passing perspective, where water slows down the puck a lot, specifically where pucks work well when they're frozen. So if you have a puck that's been saturated in water, moving a lot of times you can get it sticking on the ice, and then passes aren't as crisp, and then pucks actually aren't as efficient as they could be in a quicker fashion.
If you just tuned in hoping for the third period to begin, it's still 1-0 Penn State, and a little bit more slickness on the ice than we're accustomed to here has delayed the start of the third and potentially final period pending any overtime play. And looks like they will address it even further. Is that a fire extinguisher? No, maybe.
Well, it is a fire extinguisher, but my question is, what are they using it for?
All right. Fascinating.
Well, we're all going to get a lesson. They say you learn something new every day. This is your opportunity, so don't go anywhere, folks. As, yeah, you can see a lot of that blue paint has been dug out right near the left side of the goal, right in and around the near goal post. There's a big, I don't know if it's a hole or a big chunk of the blue that's been taken out, and now we're getting fog on the ice like the old Boston Garden.
Last game of 2018, can't hold anything back now. That's a good eye, partner. That the chunks of blue ice dug up there from the crease.
And I've seen a lot of games at Walter Brown over the last 5 seasons, and I have never seen anything like this happen. So I wonder if it's, we're getting a nice replay on the fire extinguisher. As you see there, they're trying to just clear all. That looks like some excess water being cleaned out there, and maybe trying to be filled in. You know, just speaking from experience being around this rink the last 4 or 5 years, that side of the ice, particularly in that crease area, has always had little bits of issues where maybe it's just the geometry of kind of the concrete underneath, but there's always sometimes issues with kind of, I would say, shallow ice almost, where there can sometimes be holes that appear, and it looks like that's something that's happened where kind of these chunks have been dug out here, but that doesn't look like a natural occurrence. It looks like maybe when Stewart had gone over and was kind of using her blades over it, some chunks came out, or they were dug out there. As we're getting another look, you know, a big shout out to our production crew with these replays. These have been the best replays of the game so far.
I would agree. Terry's hoping to add a few more highlights to the reel by game's end. And
you can look, if you see in the far part of that net, there's this big part of blue that the squeegee just pushed back. It's now underneath the protective white. And now Stewart's over inspecting it and letting everybody know what she thinks, having a conversation with the rink manager and the referees. This is what you usually see if there's ever some ice issues in and around the crease. They use the water bottle, hoping that it'll just kind of create this quick-acting freeze right on top, so get a couple extra layers of ice around there. But that is definitely outside the norm, and now they're using the liquid nitrogen of the fire hydrant, or fire extinguisher, excuse me, to maybe thicken it up even more here.
What do you think, Dave? Does either team gain an advantage by this lengthy delay? Of course, Penn State, they like to play slow, tight hockey, so they're not necessarily in need of momentum. And
I mean, I would say, if anything, it's more of a disadvantage to Penn State. I know we talked about how Penn State comes out and they like to be more of a slow, methodical team, but you're coming in here with a 1-goal advantage. You had been out shooting them by 9 shots going into the third, 25-16 in favor of the Nittany Lions. And now you've come out, you've gotten yourselves up and ready to go for the third period. You go out and get, you know, potentially 2 or 3 points from a road trip when you come up here. And now all of a sudden you got to wait about 5 or 10 minutes while things get tested out. So that can kind of put you on the back burner a little bit. I would say my more concern is just in the defensive end for BU is how is Katie Stewart going to react to this where you have a lengthy delay. Is there going to be that worry of, when I push off, if I'm digging my right skate in here, which she's trying to do going up, if she's pushing over and going post to post from this, what she's kind of doing right now, going from her right to left, I wonder if there's going to be any trepidation in her mind of what's going to happen with this spot if my skate goes on it. So an interesting situation developing.
It feels like it's an is what it is situation for Kate Stewart. Kind of put her glove up toward the sky. I was like, well, I guess this is what we're going to work with. She's been so good today as well. 24 saves on 25 shots. You'd hate to see anything sneak through.
And they're ready to drop the puck, and the rink manager having a hurry off.
That's good hustle. He's working on New Year's. We're working on New Year's. Grinding it away to finish up 2018. Great job by everybody involved. And thank you for your patience tuned in here on Terrier TV and Stadium as that one slides through the crease. They're getting all kinds of attention here in the early going. Penn State with a first period goal from Shea Nelson. That is it. A scoreless second period. We saw a power play from Penn State leading to very few opportunities. No power plays from the Terriers thus far. Comfer has some room with Davis coming down the slot. She'll take the short side angle instead. And a hip save made there by Brenneman.
I would have liked to see Comfer slide that one over to Davis. It looked like she had a good passing lane, and Brenneman kind of had her angled off where Comfer's down towards the bottom of the face-off circle, and you got Davis all alone in the high slot there with potentially a chance for a one-timer, and then Comfer, you crash the net and go for a rebound.
A couple of skaters go down off the face-off. It's Nelson and Schuler. Ely along the wall had her stick lifted. It goes to Loli Fiddler. A little bit of room here for Natalie Heising. Had her 10th assist earlier today. It snuck through to D'Souza. Couldn't start the breakout cleanly, but it still comes back to Alex Allen. Off the wall. Cook couldn't get it. Shot goes through off of Loli Fiddler's stick. D'Souza wants to start things again. Ely had her back to the net. She'll shovel it in for a line change. Here comes Scarpaci and Allen as the defenseman, and then the second line of Correa, Withrich, and Tarnowski. Heising on the move, shot blocked by Scarpaci. I told you before the third period as this one slides through. Terriers leading in block shots, doubling up Penn State now, 12-6. Heising didn't realize the puck was right at her skates. Tarnowski did, though. She'll dive into the offensive end. Withrich behind her to try and help out, but it's going to be Heminger to come away with possession.
And a spot on the ice to watch, Tyler. You just saw Tarnowski kind of fall down just as she got over the blue line behind the Metro Credit Union sign on the near side of the neutral zone. And that's the second Terrier we've seen go down right near that spot just in the last opening 2 minutes or so. So something to watch there.
Here they are again. Tarnowski gets a nice feed and gets a shot through on Brenneman, but the save made. Rebound cleared out quickly. Withrich reaches out to keep it in. Stanley with the catch. He'll dump it down, but only Correa was there. Didn't have the angle. Racing after it on the other end, but Heminger beats her to it. Bouncing at center ice with the line change coming. Rust goes to her left, finds Comfort. Just over the blue line, Heminger slows her down. Davis back to Comfort. Now Rust from the blue line, hard off the end boards, hit the apron of the net. Now Parker couldn't cleanly get it to Davis. Out to Comfort, trickles toward Rust. A one-timer, whistles wide, but comes right back out to Connor Galway.
And we talked about Abby Cook having a cannon on the blue line, and Reagan Rust is another one of the Terriers that just can really uncork a good slapper.
At season's beginning, they talked about how this team is built really from blue line up with so much scoring potential from the defensemen, and Rust is no exception. One of the other transfers coming from RIT that her former team took an 8-0 loss to the Terriers, a weekend sweep, in fact, before the long break. That ended yesterday, starting action again with a 1-1 tie. Elia skating hard left wing, had it taken away. This time it's Promersberger. D'Souza works the puck into the corner. Centering pass knocked away, second try. 3-something up in front, but right on the doorstep, it's Kelsey Crow, the captain, to clear. Promersberger over the top. Cook gets a backhand stick to it. Loose at center ice, and it comes free to Elia. Having a good shift, Nora Elia ahead to Schuler on the backhand, sticked away by the goaltender Brenneman. Schuler out to Stanley, who fans on it, went down to the ice. Tarnowski has to wait. Now she quickly gets in around Brooke Madsen. With a poke, she's behind the net, working through a double team with reinforcements coming behind. Donnelly and Withrich in there with her, part of this third line, or second line rather. Tarnowski goes down, play continues. Withrich looking toward goal. The shot was blocked by Crow again. Withrich got her own miss. Out toward Scarpesi, looking toward goal. Another block shot, this time by Kate McMillan. Puck free to Brooke Madsen. Can the Terriers find that third period game-tying goal like they did yesterday? It was Heminger to score early in the third. Sammy Davis tied it a little bit later. As play continues, no icing with the deflection. Adolphson angles one out all the way down to Galway. Russ misfired at first, but recovers to get it ahead to Comfort. Top line of forwards out there for the Terriers. Davis couldn't get it, but it's redirected right back to Comfort. She goes down. Davis got a shot away, but it's blocked, and she drew a penalty. We're
going to have a penalty on the Nittany Lions here, I imagine, for other body checking or interference, so the Terriers will get the chance to go to the power play for the first time.
Schuler comes onto the ice. She gets the puck right away, but the shot blocked by Heising. And the Terriers, seemingly right when they needed it, get a power play. Not 5 minutes gone by in the third. It's their first chance with the extra skater today.
And it's going to be a hooking call. This one going against, it looks like Shea Nelson.
Let's see what we have for the first power play unit. Stanley went to the bench, now comes back. So she'll be out there with Cook at the blue line. Comfort, Davis, and Nora Elia are the three forwards. Couldn't get the face off though. Forecheck pressure continues. Elia batted that one out of play.
I think they might say that one deflected off a Penn State stick, and we'll have the face-off zone, offensive zone face-off, excuse me, for BU.
That's big for the Terriers, but again, Penn State comes away with the defensive zone face-off win. That one hops over the stick of Abby Cook, a big clearance for the Nittany Lions. It is now 17-16 in face-offs, narrowly favoring BU. Power play, 23% efficiency this season. 15 power play goals for the Terriers this year. Elia breaks free. Comfer out by the point. Goes to Cook. Got it right back from Donnelly. Now Davis. Cook, one-timer, blocked way out by Rankin. Tough kid. Gets the block, gets the clearance, and she'll come off the ice.
And we've seen that setup before with Sammy Davis giving it up to Abby Cook there. They like to do that little back and forth passing to get to a spot where Cook likes it and uncorking one. And like you just said, a tough dive right in the middle to block it and send it down the ice with 52 seconds remaining now on the man advantage.
Comes around to D'Souza. Stick was lost by Adolphson, but she gets it right back. Two new skaters coming on for the Terriers, Sammy Davis and Natasha Tarnowski, the two captains. Davis at the circle, shot blocked again.
Penn State doing a really good job of blocking shots here from the point. BU got to find another way to get traffic in front of the net and shots in.
Shot saved by Brenneman. Rebound comes out. Rust was met at the circle by Welch, who goes down hard, and she is hurt. No stick. She's not on her skates. It's a de facto 5-on-3 for another 20 seconds. D'Souza centers loose, but it gets all the way through, and Welch took down Rust right in front of the goaltender and a referee for that matter, but they'll skate 5-on-4. Line change for Penn State. A few ticks left in the power play. Trying to catch the Nittany Lions on the change, but Withrich couldn't get there, and it's a Penn State penalty kill. And here they come with numbers the other way. Nelson turns back at the circle. Centering pass, and the bid from Heising misfired. Nelson again. Lost the handle, comes out to D'Souza, slipping through for Schuler, who goes down. Incidental contact, it seemed that time, with Crow over toward Ryland. Certainly a few chances on the power play for the Terriers. Didn't win as many face-offs as they would have liked, but we mentioned earlier in the period, block shots were 12-6 in favor of BU. It's now 12-12. A lot of sacrifice during that penalty kill for Penn State.
At Penn State, they really did a good job of attacking the points at BU on the penalty kill for the Nittany Lions, lying down, getting in those shooting lanes and blocking shots, keeping things to the outside. BU, I thought, had more success when they were pushing pucks down low and generating chances kind of from that side angle and hoping for a rebound to pop out, which is what you saw in the Russ chance where she came in on the weak side.
8 minutes expired here in the third period. Jesse Comfer off to the races. That one might have got a piece of the side of the post. Kept out by Brenneman. Approaching 20 saves this afternoon. Kelly had that one scored through Comfer. Now Rolfe ahead toward the Nittany Lions blue line. Loose puck comes to Madsen. Kept on skating, but Stanley eventually turns her away.
And something that Penn State is doing a great job of is they're breaking the puck out with ease and they're able to move it up.
Nice pass to Parker, but she's met right at the hash marks by Gangarosa. We have a whistle. I haven't seen anything signaled just yet.
Now the referees are telling the Terriers they can't change.
Very interesting. No Terriers on the ice right now. Everyone's at the bench, and it's going to be a penalty. It's just about the only explanation I would have come up with is they send Elia to the sin bin for 2 minutes. Must have happened behind the play. We'll see what they announce. Second power play of the game for Penn State. Their goal came even strength in the first period. Gonna be too many skaters on the ice call against the Terriers.
Which that would explain why it didn't look like any infractions were occurring, just because a player must have jumped on behind the play.
Adolphson turned away by Stewart. Loose in the corner, Heminger slips it down. Kelsey Crow got her stick tangled up with Rust. Already half a minute gone by in the Penn State power play. Pass to the circle, gets all the way through to Adolphson, walks along the blue line. Hand off, Heising, blocked by Rust, trickles down low. Tough angle shot kept out by Stewart, rebound turned aside. Penalty halfway over. Penn State wanted another one there. They don't get the call. Schuler goes indirect and somehow gets it past the stick of Adolphson. A big clearance there. 49 seconds remaining in the penalty.
Good pressure from Schuler there in the defensive zone. Even though she doesn't cause a turnover, just kill some clock.
Just enough of a delay for a line change. And the refs are certainly letting them play today. That's gone both ways.
Well, Penn State was looking for a tripping call there, but that didn't look like much, where D'Souza kind of just gave her a bit of a love tap up high and then met her with the body and kind of just an additional stumble.
20 seconds to go in the power play. Just the third penalty combined in the game, and again, it was for too many skaters on the ice. McMillan goes to Gangarosa. Her shot sticked away by Stewart. 27 saves for the freshman goaltender. 28 now. Tarnowski gets in shorthanded. Power play is over. Blockers save. Brenneman came up on the stick as well. Back to 5-on-5. Terriers 2 for 2 in the penalty kill department today. Good pursuit there from Sammy Davis. And she forces the turnover to Donnelly. About 9 minutes to go. Not desperation time just yet for the Terriers, but you can feel the urgency in the building as Katie Rankin forces the turnover, but had it taken right back. Adolphson goes off the boards on that one, popped into the bench with 8:53 remaining. 60 total shots for Penn State, 33 on target against 21 on goal from BU. Right off the face-off, Sammy Davis gets in. Shakes free from one defender, feeds the middle, but nobody home. Abby Stanley was cutting in, and now numbers the other way for the Nittany Lions. It'll be Brooke Madsen leading the charge. Madsen in with Promersberger, and a save from Stewart.
And that's a good tie up there by the freshman, number 12 for BU. Trying to find, oh, here it is, Kaylee Donnelly. Couldn't find it on my line chart there for a second, but Donnelly doing a great job of coming down the middle of the ice there on that odd man rush and tying up the center for Penn State. not allowing not just a pass to the center of the ice, but want to kind of go through all the way down to the far wing.
And one mistake defensively or in goal for BU, that could just about do it here with as well as Penn State's playing on their side of the ice. Russ took a tumble and upended, it looked like Morgan Rolfe on the way down to the ice. Schuler now out to Rust, 5-on-5 here. One-timer Galway off the stick of Lowly Fiddler, another block shot for Penn State. Each team has 13 blocks now. It's been that kind of weekend. Tough play in the neutral zone, very few shots getting all the way through.
There'll be a lot of bags of ice after this one.
No question. And a quicker turnaround than they're used to. Playing on a Monday here, Saturday and Sunday next week. Puck comes loose out to D'Souza, hit from behind in transition, and McLeod finds possession. Schuler's skating after Christy Vetter. She'll get it in, but without control, and under 7.5 to go, the Terriers repossess. They have already used their timeout. Only one power play so far today. It was unsuccessful, and they've killed off their 2 penalties. Wuthridge gets in on Ryland. Slipping toward goal, but it was neutralized by Ryland, and the puck lost off the stick of Tarnowski. Here comes Meyer the other way. All the way behind the cage. Allen is pushed off the puck. Stanley Karams went over to Tarnowski, open to connect with Wuthridge. Slow down at center ice, and back into the Terrier end it goes. They've got the second line out there, Correa, Wuthridge, and Tarnowski. So the top line is eventually going to trickle their way onto the ice as Comfort gets in there and immediately finds the puck. Her shot on Brenneman, save, rebound comes in front, a penalty coming here. Kelsey Crow just leveled Courtney Correa right in front, coming off the rebound chance. And the Terriers, with a tripping call, will head to the power play.
And that's a result of Correa driving to the net, keeping her feet moving, and just driving through the contact as well. And that's something that we've seen that she's done really well today. She's been keeping her feet moving, using her speed to her advantage, and it pays off in a crucial power play now for BU with 6:24 to go.
Just about everything else is even in this game, so why not power play opportunities as well? This is number 2 for BU. They've killed off both for Penn State. Comfer goes to work. Do they have the game-tying tally? Her shot goes sky high behind the cage. Now with Elia, Donnelly, Cook, and Davis out there, Comfer sets things up. Saucered across to Davis. Now Cook settles the puck down for Comfer. Abby Cook from the blue line. Shot blocked again. Brooke Madsen.
And BU's going to have to find other ways to get the puck to the net.
Davis tries again through the slot. Nothing there. Squirts loose at the crease and hammered out by Rolfe. Donnelly. Cook goes down low now. Again, a block shot at Olsen got there. Elia turns away from Madsen. Sends one through, and Brenneman got a piece of that. Looked like Donnelly might have redirected it, but good save made regardless with 1 minute and 7 seconds to go on the power play.
And that's what you have to do if you're BU. You have to find different ways at attacking than out on this power play. We've seen Penn State has repeatedly been able to block shots that have come from the point, especially where the Terriers like to employ kind of the 3-over-2 look, almost like the umbrella where they have 2 on the sides and then 1 up top there. So it's easier for those Penn State penalty killers to get up top, especially if they're willing to sacrifice the body.
Stanley's shot never got there. Wuthridge, a nifty rebound with her glove helping the cause. 52 seconds to go in the power play. Rust a one-timer, didn't get all of it. Now D'Souza walking out. Softly gives it to Stanley, winds and fires, knocked down by Ridland. Loose between the circles, sent out to the boards. Wuthridge getting plenty of power play ice time today. Gets it to Stanley, her shot knocked down in front, hit toward goal, and Brenneman gets a piece, and she does not like the contact from Rust afterward. And then Vetter, a very late hit on D'Souza.
Tension starting to rise here from both sides as things are getting contentious as we go down to the wire.
What do you
They're going
think?
to send D'Souza off.
How about that? Is it just D'Souza? I guess so.
We'll skate 4-on-4 for the next 30 seconds before Penn State gets a minute 30 on the power play.
My question to you is going to be, do they need to change the power play so much where you anchor things behind the net instead of at the blue line? Because everything down the middle was clogged up, but no longer a factor.
I mean, no longer a factor now with 4:50 to go and now being on the 4-on-4 and then going into the penalty kill. But, with a little bit of hindsight 2020, I think it's a lot to ask to kind of revamp your entire power play. But my point is just you need to change where the shots are generating from. Usually you see someone like a Cook or a Rust or Stanley generating those big booming slap shots from the point, getting bodies in front and trying to tip. But with the aggressiveness of those killers, it's hard to do.
Here's Sammy Davis on 4-on-4. Got caught up along the side of the net, met by Adolphson. Rankin went down. Puck goes to Stanley. Handoff to Comfer. Penalty is over for Penn State, so this is a short-handed opportunity for BU. Puck finds the stick of Rolfe. She'll get it up ice. And icing is waved off. Line change for both sides here. BU gets out there quickly. That one's knocked down by Schuler and trickled over the blue line where Heminger can pick it up. Fleeting chance there with 1 minute and 2 seconds remaining on the Penn State power play coming from that roughing call on Desiree D'Souza. The cross-checking, I beg your pardon, they've just announced it. Parker behind the cage, couldn't get it away from Gangarosa. About a half a minute left on the power play, and when it's over, even if Penn State doesn't score, they've got 3 minutes left to kill off to come away with what would be a 3-point weekend here against a red-hot BU team. For that 3-week layoff, they were 7-1-1 in their previous 9 games, and Penn State's had an up-and-down season, but this would be a remarkable weekend for them. Schuler wins the puck, a good physical battle behind the cage. It's a short-handed, remember, with 10 seconds to go on the D'Souza penalty for cross-checking. Schuler wins it again, a handoff to Tarnowski as the penalty officially expires here.
And Christina Schuler, great on the penalty kill there. So strong, able to fight off not one but 2 Nittany Lions trying to poke the puck away from her.
Like Tarnowski might have stepped on the puck that time as they go back to 5-on-5. And keep an eye on Stewart and the Terrier goal. She played more than well enough to earn a win here. 33 saves on 34 Providence shots. And thus far undefeated in her Terrier career, 2-0-0.
And Courtney Correa beating out the icing call.
It's Davis all the way across. Comfer's got room. His shot goes off the water bottle behind the cage. Davis could not settle and tripped up Katie Rankin. With just over 2 minutes to go, it's not quite a nail in the coffin, but certainly a major setback for BU.
Yeah, that definitely makes this even more of an uphill climb than he had. Sammy Davis just turning around with that bouncing puck that was fed into her from Abby Cook. She tries to wheel around as it got tied up in her skate, and as she turns around, she clips the Nittany Lion right in the skate, and she'll go to the box.
Well, tall task for the Terriers. They've killed off all 3 power plays so far, including the recent abbreviated opportunity for Penn State. And still that even strength goal in the first frame from Shane Elson standing up. That one cleared down by Stanley. And even if you're playing 5-on-5, just losing Sammy Davis for the final 2 minutes is a real backbreaker.
Yeah, she's been so explosive on the offensive end for BU, and when you're trying to find a goal in crunch time, she's one of your go-tos, and to have her not be available for all but the last 6 seconds if they're able to kill it off is not an ideal situation for DeRocher and company.
She scored the game-tying goal yesterday in the 3rd period. We've heard this plenty on these broadcasts, but the Terriers were not shut out at all a season ago. In the first game of the year, they were shut out. This season, a 5-0 defeat. It's been a strong penalty kill so far, but you're going to need a shorthanded bid here to have a chance, it would seem. And Penn State in no hurry to force the issue. Now, as Brenneman was closing that one down, the goaltender, Kate Stewart for BU, was heading toward the bench. And for the time being, she's going to stay there.
And remember, the Terriers don't have their timeout, which was used in the middle of the 2nd period. So now with 1:03, You're actually going to see Penn State take their timeout, it looks like. And I like that decision by BU to dump that in and then quickly have that pressure on Brenneman. She chooses to go with the cover-up, and now, even though you're down, it's going to be five-a-side hockey because you don't have the goalie in, and you get an offensive zone face-off. So I would imagine you send out somebody on either Comfer or Tarnowski's line, as they're your two best face-off takers during this game.
Now, you don't see it on your screen, but there are 57 seconds left in the penalty on Sammy Davis. So that really only leaves 6 seconds of what would be 6-on-5 empty net hockey here. And the time it takes to get from the bench, almost negligible. If everything falls perfectly, maybe a chance to have that sixth skater have an impact here. But for all intents and purposes, you're going to be 5-on-5 empty net the rest of the way.
And this one is all about staying patient if you win the face-off, moving the puck around. It's not like a power play how it usually is when you have the empty net. It's just going to be five-a-side, but when you're moving the puck around, yes, you have 1:03 left, but there's plenty of time for you to find a good chance because you don't want it going the other way or hopping over a stick or being sent out.
Puck comes free to D'Souza, right to the middle. Parker was there but got tied up in the crease. Final minute in the third period, right in front, and Brenneman reaches out beyond the left post to snag it away from Parker.
And that's why you see Des D'Souza out on the ice. She works really well down low and is able to generate chances, uses great body positioning to create space for herself, and has a nose for the net, so she just kind of uses her backside to create space right there on her backhand and then slides it in front.
Comfer, stalemate off the face-off, eventually comes toward the circle, and Rankin will get it out. With an empty net behind her, Abby Cook gets it forward toward Comfer. 5-on-5 and through to Brenneman, but she swallows it and then gets hit by Comfer, who was guided into the goal by Crow. 36.5 seconds to go, and again about 5.5 seconds left in that penalty on Sammy Davis.
And we talked about how throughout the game Jeff Campersall has done a great job of matching up his top pair defensemen with these top scorers of BU, but now with BU having the last change, it's the opportunity for Brian DeRochier, with no team having their timeout, to be able to mix and match how he wants.
31 seconds left in the Sammy Davis penalty. Comfer gets spun around, jabs toward goal. Brenneman a little bit shaky with the glove that time, but eventually covers up. We've seen a similar sequence after the last three faceoffs. Terriers eventually come away with possession. Brenneman gloves it, and she's not taking any chances. A clean win this time.
That one just rolled off a Cook's stick while she was trying to shoot.
Parker finds it eventually. D'Souza lost the handle, squirting through though toward Rust and fired into the corner. 17 seconds to go. Big clearance there from Penn State.
And this is your last rush chance if you're BU.
Came back to Rolfe. If she can find a clean lane, it's all but over. Tipped ahead, down toward the empty net with 5 seconds to go. Penalty is over. Davis gets back on the ice here. 2 seconds left. Parker's got to do something, and time expires. Maybe a few minutes more and the Terriers had a chance, but in the end, with a 5-on-5 empty net sequence, Penn State hangs on, and they get themselves a win and a tie here this weekend in Boston. 1-0 your final. And the Nittany Lions improving to 8-9-3 this season. And BU takes just its second loss since the start of November, a nice 11-game run.
And Penn State with the bend don't break defense there. And at the helm was Jenna Brenneman. Great job with 29 saves in the contest. A lot of them coming in the third period as BU closed that gap, shots gap, 34-29. Penn State led, but a good job in their own defensive zone. BU took it to them in the last 5 minutes, particularly in that empty net sequence, and Penn State able to stave off the storm.
You see 10-game point streak for Sammy Davis come to an end, and a 14-game point streak for Jessie Comfer also conclude. Next up, it's Hockey East action the rest of the way at Maine Saturday and Sunday for the Terriers as they look to climb up the standings. Right now, they're right in the middle of the pack with a record of 5-4-4. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. On behalf of my broadcast partner, Dave Souza, and our entire hardworking crew, led by Leo Perret, Nick McCool on graphics, and the rest of the gang here from Walter Brown Arena, I'm Tyler Murray saying Happy New Year and have a great rest of your holiday break, we hope, from Walter Brown Arena, where our final score is Penn State 1, Boston University 0. You've been watching BU Women's Hockey on Terrier TV. on Stadium.